Hello, everybody. My name is Damien Gentry, and first off, I apologize for my mic being really low. I couldn't really get to adjust it, but I'm a part of Group 6's work, along with Lindsay, Malia, Olivia, and Mariana, for intermediate stats for Dr. Lucia Alcala. Um, we did a study on the relationship between sleep and academic achievement. Here are three peer-reviewed articles. Here are our 6 steps. Hypothesis: there's no relationship between the amount of sleep a student gets and their academic achievement. That's our null. And our hypothesis 1 is there is a relationship between the amount of sleep a student gets and their achievement, their academic achievement. Number 2, we're looking at two nominal level variables, so we'll use a chi-squared test correlation. Our alpha level was set to 0.05. Our decision rules: if the p-value obtained from the chi-square test is less than 0.05, we will reject the null hypothesis. We ended up making a decision on the study. The p-value of the chi-square test that we got was 0.57, which is higher than our alpha of 0.05, so we ended up having to fail to reject the null hypothesis. Our conclusion: there is no significant relationship between the amount of sleep and academic performance in our study. And that's the data down in the bottom right. Conclusion: in our future studies, considering there was no significant relationship between academic performance and sleep, future studies should be conducted. A broader group of people and stricter parameters should be set. Also, a wider range of environments should also be considered when doing this test the next time. Optimal amount of sleep on academic achievement should also be explored as well. Sleep is a pivotal factor in a lot of successes and should be treated as such for academics as well. Um, Here's the data we got. All the way on the right, we got our bar chart with our current GPAs and amount of sleep and how it correlated to the groups. Under that is the symmetric measures, bottom middle, case processing summary. Out of all 111 entries for the people from the class, bottom left, chi-square tests. That's actually where we got our significance, that 0.570 in the Pearson chi-square. And then the big square on the top left was your current GPA on average and how many hours of sleep did you get. Breaks it all down. Here's our reference page with our 3 academic journals and what we used within our study to relate to what we were doing. And finally, I'm going to play a video that's going over the actual statistical test, and that was done by Lindsay. So I'm going to let that run.
For our group project, we're seeing if there is a correlation between the amount of sleep somebody gets a night and their average academic achievement. So to do this, we'll be wanting to run a chi-square test as we're doing two nominal variables. First, though, we need to go into SPSS, and we have data that is on an Excel, so we need to input that into SPSS. The way that you do that is you go to File, you're going to go to Open, and then Data. Now on here, since it's going to be an Excel file, you actually do need to change that down here to be able to find it. So here is our copy of raw data from Excel. So we're going to open that. And let's see. And yes, you want to read variable names from the first row and hit OK. So now we have the data inputted into SPSS. Like I said, we do have nominal values for these. Let's see. So if you go into variable view, you will be able to see that. So let's see. On average, which is how many hours of sleep they get a night, right here it says nominal. Actually, all of these are nominal. But you do want to check the measurements right here so that you know what kind of test to be running. And since we have two variables and they're both nominal, we're doing a chi-square test. And so to run this test, you're going to go to Analyze. From here, you'll go to Descriptive Statistics, and then you're going to go down to Crosstabs. As I mentioned, our variables are going to be GPA as well as average amount of sleep. So here's GPA, which we will put into the rows section. And then we're going to put the average amount of hours slept a night into the columns section. Then we need to fix the statistics on here. So we are again doing a chi-squared test. So you're going to click on that. And then we also do need a phi and Kramer's V. So you'll click there as well, hit continue. Then we're going to go into cells, and under counts, you need to click on observed and expected, which observed was already clicked on here. For percentages, you want to do row and column, and then hit continue. And then we will also need a bar chart, so you want to hit display clustered bar charts down here, and then click on OK. Now here is going to be our output. So this will give you the amount of, or the N value, which is the amount of people that took the survey. And then this will give you the different breakdowns between the GPA on this side. And then up here, it will give you the average hours of sleep that they got a night as well. And so then you can just go down and find exactly, you know, if somebody had a GPA of 2.1 to 3, and then you wanted to see how many hours, then you could look into here. And then down here, this is going to give us our degrees of freedom as well as whether or not this is significant. Since our significance is 0.57, that is greater than the 0.05 for alpha, meaning that there isn't significance on here, which we can actually see if you go down to our bar chart. So let's see. I mean, people that got, you know, less than 5 hours of sleep a night didn't do too well. But those that got 9 hours of sleep also didn't do too well. So it looks like people that got like the average amount of sleep, 6, 7, and 8 hours actually did better. So there could be future testing possibly on that as well, just on what is the right amount of sleep versus, you know, too many or too less, I guess, but rather what is the optimal time of sleep to get better or to have better academic achievement. So yeah, again, though, this doesn't show that there's a high significance as far as that's concerned across all levels. I think this might need to be a little bit more specialized. That way you can get a more accurate reading, and because yeah. But that is basically how you run a chi-square, and this is our output.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching, and we appreciate you from Group 6.